Good afternoon. I would like to present a crowdsourcing platform that we have been developed in collaboration with the Center for Demographic Studies, also in Barcelona. So first, before explaining how the platform works, I would like to introduce first which is the project and which are the kind of documents that we have. Then we'll explain the platform and the two views, the contents and the labeling. Then we will go through the running experience. We will see how we could generalize these to other kinds of documents, and then let's see the conclusions. So, first of all this comes from a European project, 5 Centuries of Marriages, and the name is like this because the data, the documents that we have cover 5 centuries, so it's a continuous source. The project is for 5 years, and the partners are the Universitat Autònoma de Barcelona, the Center for Demographic Studies, and the Computer Vision Center. That's where I work. And the aim is to analyze the marriage records of the Barcelona Cathedral, because there is information about the couple, and from this there are many different studies that could be done. So let's see. The marriage record is, for example, it's one paragraph, and here we have information about the man and the wife. So we have the groom and the bride, their parents, so there is information about the parents, the occupation, the job, in some cases the place of origin, the parish, of course, the church where they married, and always the fee that was paid to the cathedral. And of course this amount depends on the social status of the couple, so which will be very interesting later for analyzing the people. And the map that we have here is just to show that the marriages are not only from the city of Barcelona. I am talking about the area, so the neighboring towns are also included. So let's see how a book is and what contains. First, there is an index, so we have the different surnames and the different pages. And then we have the different books and the registers, and each one of these paragraphs contains the information about one marriage. We have at the left the husband's surname, that's for the index. In the middle we have the license with all the information that we have said. In some cases, not all the information appears there. For example, the place of origin is something that appears in some volumes, and in some others it's missing. And at the right, we have the fee, what they paid. We can see that we are covering 5 centuries, so we can analyze even how is the document, how they look like, and of course the handwriting style, it's very different. So it's quite a big challenge here. And of course, we also have one page at the beginning of each volume that says, well, if you are on the top of the social class, you are a duke, for example, or then you are going down to knights or merchants, or at the end, the very poor people, so you pay more or less. So this is helpful for us to see if the population, for example, that was living in a certain neighborhood was rich or poor, just having a look at the fee that they paid. So from the demographers, historians, or genealogists' point of view, from the scholars, they are interested in, of course, the genealogic tree. Just imagine 5 centuries, so we could get this. Also, immigration and emigration, because you could see which is the amount of marriages, and also if new surnames appear or disappear. There are also, in some period of time, French surnames appear, but in maybe half of the volume is crowded with French surnames, so that means a very important immigration from France. Also population, just counting the amount of marriages. Also, you can analyze what happened in the different neighborhoods, just analyzing about which is the amount that they were paying, the fee. Also, the evolution of a family name. For example, Smith at the beginning were paying a very small amount, and then after 2 centuries they are paying quite a lot. So it means that this family became rich, for example, or even some strategic relationships. Smith were married a lot, let's say. Many people were getting married, the sisters and the brothers with other family, I don't know, Fisher, and then you could see that there were some strategic relationships. But now, from the computer scientist point of view, we are interested in layout analysis, text and word segmentation, word spotting, that means retrieval, that means searching, also handwriting recognition and syntactic analysis. Let's see this a bit into detail. So we have this document. We would like to have the different areas, the different blobs. We could also would like to have the lines and the words. In case of transcription, we have the image, and we would like to do handwriting analysis and obtain which is the text. And in the case of spotting, we would like to have a word, and then we would like to search this word into the document. So we don't have the transcription of the document, so let's simply search for some specific words. Now that we know which is the kind of document, let's see what we did in the platform. So this is the architecture. So what we have is first the documents. We scanned all this. Then the second step is just to retrieve what's the information from this. And you can imagine that 5 centuries is quite a tedious task, especially with this handwriting, that you have seen the handwriting. And then once we have all the information, we have the context. That word means Smith, and this is the surname of the man, for example, of the groom in this case. And then we could start with all the exploitation and all the research. So the crowdsourcing platform, as you know, if it's done using the crowdsourcing paradigm, is because it's quite a time-consuming task, quite tedious. So that's why divide and conquer is very useful here. We have seen some crowdsourcing talks during these 2 days. So the idea is to split and divide all these in very small tasks. So in the crowdsourcing architecture, we have first the documents, then we have the transcription space, and then we have the contextual space, where we say which word corresponds to this or that label. So the web-based application has the 2 points of view, the view from the scholars, the demographers, and the view from the computer scientists, because we need the ground truth for our document analysis methods. So let's just have a look if it comes again. Here, come here, yes. Let's see a video. How is it? So we enter. We see the user welcome screen. Here on the right, we have our work, so we can see if we are working faster and slower. And on the left, we have the different tasks that we have. We can see the document. We have the different registers. We have the different forms. Blue corresponds to the man. Pink corresponds to the woman, and we have the information of the first column is the groom, then the second column is the father of the groom, the third is the mother of the groom, and the same with the pink side. And something that can happen is that since it's transcription, there can be some mistakes, spelling mistakes. So that's why we have a first autocorrection option, that's this, that shows, for example, let me see names of men, so we can see the frequency. So it's more likely to have spelling mistakes if the word only appears once, for example. So this is a very easy way to see and correct the errors. So now that we have seen a bit how it works, we will see that From the administration point of view, we can upload as many documents as we want. Of course, the different red and green shows which volumes have been finished, which not, and who should be assigned to each one of the tasks. This is the welcome screen. So here we can see the work that we have been doing. Here we have the form filling for each one of the paragraphs. One paragraph means one marriage. Here we have also the extraction of the index, that surname and that surname. This is the surname of the woman. This is the surname of the man at that page. So this is also fine. This is what we said about the possible spelling errors. Of course, this is a first step, and it's more likely that the word that only appeared once, maybe there is a spelling mistake in there, but maybe not. This is just for checking. And also another thing that we have is the linkage. I mean, we have 5 centuries, so we could find the parents' marriage. Why not? If they married in the same area, why not? So there is a batch process that searches for the parents' marriage, even the brothers and sisters. And for this, what we do is that we allow some spelling variations. We use the Levenstein distance, and we can assign different costs for different substitutions of words. For example, O and U were very misclassified when they were read, for example, or maybe depending on the accent and the area of where the writer was born. So, you know, there are many words that were with B, then are with U, so you can play with this. And this is also useful for harmonization, especially for names and surnames. So the system is searching for each one of the paragraphs, each one of the webbing is searching for some links with other volumes, so this is why it takes quite a lot of time. And then the system just proposes some links. In this case, for example, it's searching for the link of the parents of the bride, and in this case is Geronima. And she was married, she married at the 1638, and then you can see how the system proposes the parents that were married in 1606. And the final, the last column shows which is the similarity, because here we can see that in this other case, for example, this surname here has one extra letter at the end, so it shows that it melt maybe. In all cases, this is something that the system suggests, and at the end, it's the expert who says yes or no. So now we have seen what's the platform from the demographer point of view. So let's see what we would like to do in the case of document analysis ground truth. So we would like to do handwriting recognition. And for this, what we need is the literal transcription, that's this here, the literal transcription of each one of the lines. And it means that if the image has some spelling mistakes, we cannot correct them. So it's important for the system to have just as it's written. If there are mistakes, no problem. We have to write it like this, literal transcription. And then the second part is for searching, for retrieval. So for this, we would like to have, for our word spotting evaluation, we would like to have the bounding boxes of each one of the words. And for this, we also have this option at the platform, and it's just for letting the user to crop the different words. There is a video also. Okay. So here we have at the top the document, we have the different lines, and we are just doing rectangles for each one of the words. And the yellow thing that you see in the middle, it's the interesting thing, because that word is linked to the form of the other database, the database that we're using, the scholars, the different forms. That's where the 2 points of view are connected. That's how the two databases are connected. So it means that if, from my point of view, I would like to search for a word, I could search a word, I could see which is the word that's there, and I could also see that that word corresponds to the surname of the wife, for example. So that's why these two worlds are connected. Let's go back to the presentation. So thanks to this, we can use a joint platform. And also something important is this really something that the user is doing, linking the lines and the bounding boxes to the different fields in the form? The answer is no, because we are also doing a string edit distance to see which is the word. And of course, it has to be approximated, because you know that the spelling mistakes are not corrected, or even abbreviations are not corrected. That's why it's like this. So now that we have seen the platform, we'll talk a bit about the experience. So the good thing is that we had the digital source, so there is no need for the volunteers or the experts to go physically to the archive, so we could have people from other communities working on this. Also, parallelization. We already finished with the 5 centuries, so if someone would like to start searching for the genealogical tree, so the data is already there. Also, it's something that's centralized, so we can easily manage users, the images, the database. It's easy to see who is working on which task, and this is fine. Also, the automatic control. The system forces to fill some fields. Hey, you forgot to fill the last marriage record in this page. Something like this. Also, some spelling errors. Security also, because we were doing frequent backups. For those who are interested, let me just see that most of the users could visualize the documents but not download the images. That's also good in some cases. Also, the administration was fine in the sense that the administrator and the expert user could monitor on real time what was being done. And if there are some mistakes that some of the experts are doing, then they could easily get in touch. So it's like Big Brother, so you are following what they are doing. And of course, visualization and comfort, zoom in and out as you prefer. Of course, there are some disadvantages. It means that it's centralized, online, so we need internet connection, of course. And the next thing, it's quite obvious, is if the system is down for maintenance or something similar, then we know that no one can work on the application. So till now, we could see, yes, that's fine, it's a nice platform, okay, but can we really use it with other kind of documents? And then the answer is yes, we have started with this and reusing some of the modules. And in this case, we have used this for census documents. So you know that at each street, those people were living here. At that street, those people were living at that house. And this is something that was repeated every 2, 3, 4 years, depending on the town. So the idea was, can we use all this platform for this? And of course, here, the links that we search are not the parents. So we are searching for the same person that appeared some books before, because I was living here when I was 15, 17, and 20. So I may appear in different books. So that's why we also did the linking part. So we'll see it. So this is the login screen. We get into the volumes part. We choose the volume. We start editing the volume, transcribing the information that's in the document. Of course, again, zoom in and zoom out as we prefer. And then Once we have saved this, we can go and search for the same individual some books before. So we start for searching the link, and then the system is showing which are the candidates for the links. Again, we can see that this is the Pablo Casañas that we have already entered, and then the system says that 2 years ago there was the same person living in the same street. Then you can always say yes or no to the link that the system has proposed. And of course, some characters that are easily confused, you simply give them higher or lower cost when there are similarity is performed. And finally, you can even do some links manually. So let's conclude. We have seen that we could do a crowdsourcing platform that can join the needs of the demographers, the historians, or the genealogists in one side, and the ground truth that the document analysis people need from the computer scientist point of view. And something that we would like to do in the future is to improve validation. Instead of having administrator experts that are checking the work, we would like to see if we could combine the output from several users or use document analysis techniques. And also something that we are doing right now is to use mobile devices. Most people have iPads and Samsung tablets, so why don't we use this? Because this is a very user-friendly interface. So first, for ground truthing, just imagine instead of using the mouse, just using the finger in your tablet, and then you can crop and select areas very easily. And then the second thing is, let's browse and search data using our tablet, so we can go back and forth, seeing the different, browsing the different volumes. And then whenever we touch a word, we could say, hey, could you search the same word in other pages? And then the system also provides the different outputs. So this is what we are doing right now. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have time for questions.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, you showed the form for, I assume, for people to enter the data about the documents. Could you tell us something about what's behind that? I mean, is this information then stored somewhere? Do you use your own proprietary system? Do you use a specific standard to store those data?
Well, internally, the web is using MySQL, but Apostolos is here, and I would also like to say that concerning the format, the output format, is one of the standards that we were discussing in the community for years, maybe, the page XML format. So what we were trying to do is, well, once we have all the data and you can download the data and use your data, we have two options: to create our own standard, and that's it, or use some existing standard. So that's what we decided to do. So if you download the file, you do have all the data into a format that it's already been used for other public data sets. Is that the answer for the question? Okay.
Kind of standard, like indeed TI or something else, or you don't know?
Well, it's the page standard. Maybe Apostolos? That was the format that was used in Impact, right? Yes.
Other questions?
How many users were working on this crowdsourcing platform?
Well, right now we finished with this, but I can tell you that we had about 100 and even 150 people working at the same time. But I would like to say that the level of expertise was different. I mean, there are some easy tasks because the cropping of the words is something that everyone can do. So we had, in this case, many students and volunteers that could help. And then there were some other documents, you know, the handwriting. If I go to the beginning, showing some of the images, the handwriting is really complicated. These documents are in Spanish and Catalan. I speak both languages, and for me, some of them look like Hebrew. So if you go to the volumes that are quite old, then it's quite complicated. So for this, we had experts and paleographers that were helping in that part. So yes, more than 100 volunteers or even people that was working for this, but not the same level. So.
How many hours did this take?
I don't know. I don't know, but this is something that we could see because here you see the statistics. Okay, let me just show this. You have seen here the different statistics. This is like a big brother, and this is quite dangerous because the administrator could see if you have been doing nothing for 3 days, that it's really unbelievable. But in any case, the thing is that it took quite a lot of time. That's why crowdsourcing was the key here. It took 2 years for the 290 volumes, and I should say that some of the volumes have 100 to 100 pages, but some of the volumes have about 800 and 900 pages. So you know we had to split this into many small tasks. 2 years. Let's say that 2 years. That's what we had to spend in this.